my honor to welcome Susan Saam, District 211 School Board candidate. Susan, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm terrific. Thanks for having me.
And for AM 560 historians, a year ago, for any of you nerds out there, a year ago, Susan's son, Grant, was a guest here in studio with me, and Grant was fantastic. So it's great to keep it in the family. Susan, thank you for joining us. And next to Susan is another District 211 School Board candidate, Barbara Velez. Barbara, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's truly an honor to have both of you here, because this is what you are going through, and all of these conservative grassroots candidates is hell. And for what? Because you're standing up for your children. You're standing up for other people's children. And so we're going to kind of unpack this a little bit. I'm going to start with you, Susan. Susan, can you give us just a little bit of background on, give us your background and what inspired you to run for District 211 School Board?
My husband and I planted roots here a little over 20 years ago. He grew up in Schaumburg and went to D211 schools along with his 4 other brothers. And for us, that was the choice. It was a great school district. Both my kids have come through it. As you know, Grant graduated 2 years ago. My daughter's going to graduate this year. From 6 years ago when Grant entered freshman year to where we are at now, the school district is unrecognizable. Yep. It's completely turned in an unbelievable way. Now, I'm the type of mom who is completely involved in her kids' lives. I stay close to my kids. I take them to church. We have a healthy family environment. We do the best we can to support them while encouraging them to kind of carve their own path. But in addition to staying close to my kids and being involved in their education, I am also a multimedia teacher, CTE certified, which is secondary career education. I specialize in multimedia. So I've got experience teaching in high school and in college level. And I also specialize in post-secondary career education. So when I saw things kind of playing out in the school, it began with opening up locker rooms to transgenders, and the school communicated that if you had, wanted to talk to someone about that, how you felt about it, that they had an open policy. Let's talk about it. And when I called, I really didn't care for the response I got. They did not identify this was 6 years ago. 4 years ago. They did not identify my daughter as a woman, as a young lady. They called her a person with female genitalia who identified as a female. And that was my first tip off. Well, it was 1 year later and COVID hit, and both my kids responded differently to that. Some positives and some negatives. The plus side is on the other side of it. We learned a lot. We stayed close, and we stayed in contact with the school. And I think it's our job to make sure the school learns from this epidemic, this thing that happened. I can relate to teachers right now. I don't believe for 1 second that the teachers are okay with the pressures that are falling on them. They're struggling teaching their classes because of discipline issues. We can see them pouring their heart and soul into things, that the environment is shifting away from academics and towards more social emotional learning. And while I completely advocate for the emotional health of young kids, what I'm not okay with is focusing so much on it that we're having to push away a core academic focus in order to make room for it. And we're seeing that play out now. So I feel like I can represent parents, I can represent students, having been a teacher, and I can represent teachers. So that's why I'm here running